Welcome back to the What the Fuck podcast. Today, on our 8th episode, it's all improv, so we're going to start it off. No, is it, sorry, the 8th or 9th?
I don't know.
It's our 9th episode. Yeah.
Just remember, we're veterans. We can't count.
I just took some drugs for my throat surgery.
And now he sounds like an old man, whispering sweet nothings into your ear like he's Herbert.
Anyways, we were supposed to have an interview with some special guests, but with the current events going on in the country, we're improv.
That's such a scary statement. I guess we did discuss that we're kind of going to talk about the quarantine stuff since that is what canceled, unfortunately, or at least postponed our conversation with our guest. I don't know how the rest of the country is. I've been paying attention just due to work stuff, but our area is luckily not as horrific as it could be.
It's getting bad. Mm-hmm. There's 10 cases now.
There are, and a couple of them are right here at the university.
Yeah, right at the university. A&M Vet Center. Vet Science Center.
Yeah. But I know I reached out to my family that still lives in Italy yesterday to make sure, they were still alive.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, I was like, not to be rude, we don't talk as much as we probably should, but you guys still alive?
Did you see that they were singing on their porches?
I did. I love that.
I thought that was amazing.
I thought so too.
Yeah. I wish people did shit like that here. That'd be kind of cool.
So
walk outside and people are singing out of their backyards,
Have you heard these people sing out here?
That's very true. I mean, I'd run if I heard me singing. I mean, I run every time I look in the mirror, so.
You could just take them off your wall. You wouldn't have that problem every time you went to the bathroom?
That's true, but if I didn't fix myself before I went out in public, I'd scare everyone.
This is you fixed?
No, I just took a shower, so this is just fixed for you.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was tolerable for you.
I can take it. So we did also talk about the toilet paper issues.
Oh my gosh.
The support ribbon for this is a support ribbon made of TP.
Yeah, I saw another great one today. I might try this later on. Spray Pam in between your butt cheeks, and you won't have to worry about the poop sticking.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't started shaving your butts now is the moment.
Yeah.
Less hairs to be trapped between the ass crack, I suppose.
Less dingleberries to worry about.
I swear, my daughter sometimes, you know how little kids are. Sometimes they don't wipe as well as they should be.
Oh,
I'm like, are they proportioning how much they get at daycare? Because she's got some skid marks. Like, really, Lena?
So when I was growing up, potty training is a well-known story in my family. I was scared to death of the fucking toilet. And so one day, I'm pretty sure my family locked me in the bathroom with the toilet. And it scared the shit out of me. They wouldn't let me out until I flushed it. Apparently, growing up, I used to sneak out of the bathroom and go shit in the closet.
So I guess you could never get mad at dogs that shit in your shoes.
Yeah.
I was actually potty trained on a train on the way to Massachusetts.
Oh my god.
My grandfather was traveling with me, and he refused to have to change diapers or anything.
He deserves an award.
Yeah, no, that's a baller ass move.
Yeah, no kidding.
It kind of describes all of my grandfather in that one small story.
Yeah. It's like the epitome of the kind of man that every man should be right there.
Yeah,
What guy likes to change poopy diapers? Let's be real.
What person does? I don't think that has to do with guy or gal.
Every time I open a poopy diaper, I fucking gag. I throw up. I just can't hold it in. I can't do it. I would totally be that father where if they farted while I was changing them, I'd probably throw up.
Oh.
Absolutely.
I picked up one of mine yesterday and farted on my arm. I was like, really, asshole? little digression from COVID, I suppose.
So, did you see the news that Kenny Rogers died?
Yeah.
That poor guy. At least...
Dude, he's got to be he had to have been in his late 80s, early 90s.
Close to 90s, yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. He's lived a life. A storied life.
I fucking love his songs.
But,
the good news is COVID didn't take him out.
No, he went of his own damn volition.
Yeah, he was going to go down his own way.
Yeah, probably falling asleep on a train after singing a song.
I guarantee it. When Chuck Norris gets COVID-19 is going to die across the world.
Don't say that, because that means that our area got way worse, because he lives right around here.
I know he does.
He's got that ranch.
Yeah.
I mean, he came to HEB to promote his Chuck water.
I've met him in the Center for the Intrepid, where I get my legs made at.
Really? I met him in Iraq.
I'm pretty sure if I wanted to, I could find some connections where we can get on his ranch.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty baller.
I met him in Iraq, so it was just one of those quick meet and greets.
If I get him on his ranch, I'm gonna ask him if we can remake a scene from Texas Walker Rain or whatever. What's the show?
Walker Texas Ranger.
Walker Texas Ranger. Yeah, I'm a little high off the hydrocodone right now.
My grandfather always used to tell me when I joined the Marine Corps and became a military police officer, he goes, "Oh, what do you want to be like Walker Texas Ranger?" I don't think those are anything alike.
Yeah.
Nothing the same, Pa.
Oh man. I'm still getting used to this voice. Since the throat surgery. I've been told that by a couple people that I'm enunciating a little bit more than I usually do. It's probably because I'm trying to get used to this little nut sack that I can actually feel that's not trying to kill me in the middle of the night. And it's gross. It's super short. So to give you an idea, what was going on?
Basically, he had it amputated.
I had my uvula amputated.
Yes, so it's short. It was amputated below the knee, similar to his leg.
I'm pretty sure my uvula was bigger than my dick. It was about 3 inches long.
And about a centimeter wide.
Yeah, and about a centimeter wide. And the doctor, the ENT, bless his heart, he cut it down to about a half inch, and it's all scabbed up right now. I looked in the mirror a couple days ago. It scared me because I'd never seen scabs like that. It's all white. I was like, it looks like a moldy nutsack.
He's really not wrong.
Like one of those planter nuts with the shells on it, but with mold. That's what it looks like.
So basically what you're telling me is that they amputated it below the knee.
This one was definitely above the knee.
Was it above the knee?
Above the knee.
Yeah, I didn't measure before and afterwards.
Yeah. I think the only person that did measure was Harold.
Well, and your buddy down in Houston.
Yeah. Aaron.
I don't know why I wanted to call him Dan. That's because he was a lieutenant.
Yeah. Aaron, if you're listening to this, your new name is Lieutenant Dan from now on.
And in case anybody is wondering, we are, in fact, well within 6 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
We don't believe in social distancing.
I don't believe in social distancing.
Figured if we're going to get it, we're going to get it.
I mean, if you're having sex with someone, you're not going to stick your penis out and try to stick it in them from 6 feet away. God bless the man that can do that.
Or God did not bless that man.
That's true. I mean, we know one person.
Because what are you going to do with that?
We know one person in our lives that might be able to do that right now. We were just talking about him.
It's not you, Brad. Yeah.
So, I was going to talk about, the greatest way to get nudes, and, here's one right here. What are some of the greatest COVID-19 rumors you have heard so far?
Ooh, the greatest rumors. That the entire country was going to be on a national lockdown.
That was probably one of them.
Yeah, that was a good one. I think that scared a lot of people.
I think so too.
But you know how social media is with... I think that we're in a good position with social media for some things and a bad one to others.
Yeah.
Like it's great that we can disseminate information.
Yeah.
However, there is a bunch of assholes in the world that like to disseminate false information.
There's people that will believe anything too.
Well, I mean, there's still women or Huns rather in MLMs that are trying to shill their tea tree oils to get rid of the COVID.
Yeah, that's why.
I'll tell you what though, I saw a meme that said, I noticed everybody's running out of food and whatnot, but I haven't heard any complaints about running out of essential oils.
I saw that one too. That was a good one.
I'd say that'd be a little mean, but I don't think they're smart enough to to know that I'm making fun of them.
Here's something. I saw this meme. It's a dark one. It's very funny too. So my question to you is, should we wait to fill out the census until after the pandemic ends?
I was thinking that this morning because I got my census.
I've never filled it out, but I think I might fill it out this time.
You've never filled out the census?
I've never filled it out. I've never once in my life filled out a census.
What a piece of human garbage.
I know. I'm such a great human. I always just throw them away.
You've only gotten one before now.
Yeah, I got one last year.
No, you got one 10 years ago.
No, I got one last year too.
Yeah, but that wasn't like the actual census. They only do the census every 10 years, dog.
What was that one from then? Because I got one last year. I didn't fill it out.
They're probably in preparation.
Maybe it was for the person that lived here before.
No, it was probably in preparation. So census is taken every 10 years.
I was confused why I got it last year. I didn't fill it out.
Of course you didn't. You should probably fill this one out.
I probably will.
It is required by law.
So
otherwise, they're going to come and knock on your door.
Well, that's fine. I'll just give him my leg.
So would that count as 2 people?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, according to some people's kids, I'm a monster.
You are. That would be my kid.
I mean, she is not wrong. I am ugly, and I am big.
And you have multiple legs.
I have multiple legs, and only monsters are ugly, big, and have multiple legs.
Yeah, she also calls you Coco, which is weird.
Yeah, I'm not brown at all. I'm very white.
Like pasty.
Pasty white, yeah. With a red beard. I'm like a wannabe Irishman.
Did you say your beard was red?
Yeah, if it grows out and the sun hits it, it's actually red. But when there's no sun, it looks brown.
Folks, I'm going to believe that as much as you guys would believe that my beard is blue.
I'm going to grow my beard out now. So
all right. I get a lot of questions if I dye my beard.
Everyone says that my beard looks like a calico cat.
I could see that because I can see different like shades. Yeah. I get different colors, but they're all very vibrant.
Yeah.
But because my beard comes in so black, I go, do you dye your beard?
Yeah.
Why? Why would I dye my beard?
So I went to. You remember how a couple weeks ago you told me to go to Mike's barber to get it?
Yes.
I went there, and at first he did it okay, but then I realized he fucked it up because when he trimmed my beard, he left a goatee. The front of my hairs around my mouth were like a whole inch longer than the rest of the hairs around my face.
That's just weird.
Yeah, and then I told him, I was like, this is what I told him. I have a big head. I have a box head. I'm like fucking Hank Hill off King of the Hill. You got to cut it right. I told him, I was like, you got to fade it down low. You can't fade it up high because if you fade it up high, I look like a fucking conehead. And what does he do? He fucking fades it up all the way high.
And you do kind of look like a conehead. I'll give you that.
I mean, my barber had to like cut it. I have to grow it out now to fix it. But
well, that's unfortunate that you had that experience.
I think it was just that one guy.
It very well could be.
He wasn't paying attention at all.
Well, there does tend to be women there, and they get distracted.
No, he was talking to some other guy about how he supposedly played with professional NBA players.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, sure thing. You're not that cool, bro. You cut hair.
It's funny because, it's really weird because normally you meet those guys who are like, oh, well, I played with this guy and this guy. But then you've got Pat, who's been on here, who actually knows them and used to play like basketball and football with them. And you're like, every time you say it, my immediate reaction just out of experience is, no, you don't. But then I've met them, so I know you're not bullshitting me.
Yeah. So I was contemplating doing ASMR, and I've never done ASMR, but you remember that video of the ASMR guy where he was like touching tips?
I do not, because I'm not weird.
I watch ASMR all the time.
Are you one of those people that it actually affects?
No.
Oh.
I just think it's funny.
I watched like one or two videos at the beginning where they were like, oh, it's supposed to be some sort of like mental high, and I was like, sure, why not?
A way we could do like ASMR with my leg. Oh, you know what?
Yeah, we could ASMR you slipping your leg into your other leg.
Yeah, like taking it on and off.
Yeah.
You can hear the sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
Or maybe you could get the real good suction going and then just do the pop.
Well, sometimes it farts when I do that. It's like. I used to sit in my undergrad class and take my leg in and out all the time because it sounded like I was ripping ass.
Speaking of, that's gonna be real interesting here starting next week with all these universities going to remote learning.
Oh, I know.
I feel bad, man. Like I feel great, but also bad for some of these kids.
There's no people on campus. I might as well just start going to class on campus and getting work done there.
Well, just think. Can you imagine spending 4 years, especially in some of these harder degrees, like that are hard sciences? You spent 4 years doing hard sciences. You work your ass off to become, magna cum laude or something, and then you don't even get to walk.
Yeah. This is a very interesting time, and it was interesting how it played out because
that and all the medical school students who did match day the other day.
The way I take this whole COVID thing, I'm not going to freak out about it, but I think you should respect it. I absolutely think you should respect it. You should be prepared. You shouldn't go absolutely crazy over it.
What, you don't want to buy all the toilet paper?
Yeah, you just want to have enough for you. You don't want to be selfish, and that's the problem with today's society is people are so fucking selfish. And then I'm in a graduate program, and it wasn't just undergrads. It was also the fucking graduate students. They're like, oh yeah, this is just like a fucking cold. Well, it's great and fine, Dan. That's what most MERS and SARS, they're upper respiratory infections, which is just like a cold, but at the same time, it's a new strain. We really don't know how bad it is,
and we don't know how to resolve it.
We don't know how to resolve it. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is when you deal with a new disease and you don't have any cure or
information or data.
Yeah.
And so then you have all these,
and then you're fighting what is created, because the biggest issue isn't necessarily COVID; it's that it creates pneumonia.
And then you have
pneumonia
all these
is what's killing all these
millennials and young people in college. It's the perfect storm right here because spring break just happened. None of these college students give a fuck. They think they're invisible.
Invincible?
Invincible, yes.
They're invisible to
it's
COVID.
My speech impediment right now with my dick in my throat.
I think that's your retardation showing through.
I can't talk right, all right? I'm trying to get used to this. I can feel it like touching. It's like barely touching the top of my tongue. It feels weird.
That happens whenever I get strep. It just swells up.
Yeah, so he said that it's going to be a while before I get used to it because it like dangles and touches the top of my tongue, and it feels like it doesn't belong there. So I'm trying to learn how to talk all over again. Invincible. And so, yeah, that's why they're all on spring break in fucking Florida, massing at the fucking beaches, which is fine. I think everyone should go and enjoy a natural life, but at the same time, if you see a beach that crowded, I think you should just stay away. You know what I mean? It's like what I was talking to some of my family members about. It's like, yeah, it may not affect us because we're young. We might get it and we might have some symptoms, but we might pass it on to someone, and then that they could kill that other person. And it's like, well, that's fucking shitty. That's number one reason why we need to be mindful of what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part is that, don't go out and do things that you don't need to do, or you're putting yourself in a position where you might affect somebody else. Because like I said, the biggest issue isn't necessarily the COVID itself, it's what it can lead to, because you're ruining your immune system, your body's trying to fight out this, and then you get things like pneumonia where you're getting fluid in your lungs, and old people.
What is it, smallpox? If you got the smallpox virus when you were younger, you're predisposed for mingles now?
Do you mean...
shingles. Sorry.
Well, one, shingles, but two... chickenpox.
Chickenpox. What did I say? Smallpox? Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully nobody's getting smallpox nowadays.
I mean,
well, that's
it's the hydrocodone. It's the liquid hydrocodone talking right now. Everyone.
That's fair. Well, I mean, there's that whole other conversation we could have about pieces of shit that don't vaccinate their children.
Oh my god! Did you get the smallpox vaccine when you were in?
Of course I did.
Yeah. Did you ever meet any of those? Did you guys have any of those retards that got it and then they purposely scratched it and the smallpox got everywhere on their body?
No.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, so that says something about us.
Again, apparently, I learned more and more that the Marine Corps is smarter than I thought they were.
We've had a couple of these idiots. They get it, and they actually scratch it. And there was one guy on the news just recently, that got it. I don't remember where he was. It was an active dude. I don't know what branch it was. I wish I would have paid attention to it. But he got it, and then he got a tattoo over it.
What?
Yeah, he got the smallpox vaccine, and then got it within like a week or something like that. Got a tattoo over it, and it spread it everywhere.
Man, we got our smallpox vaccine. So we were on our way to Iraq. We had left the families at the unit when we were leaving. We got on the bus, went to the armory. The docs were sitting in the armory, poked us in the arm. We drew our rifles and then got back on the bus to go to the airport.
Yeah.
So there was no opportunity. Maybe that's why the Marine Corps is smarter, because they know that we're dumber.
They're trying to take care of you.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that was probably the best way to do it too, because by the time we got into country, it was starting to really scab over, and then you're too distracted to actually mess with anything.
In all good and fun and respect, I think every branch. I don't think stupidity is.
No, you've got the 10% on both sides, man.
Yeah, you got 10% of stupid on both sides. I probably fall into the 5%.
Of stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bottom 5?
Yeah, the bottom 5.
Maybe bottom 2. No, I mean, that's like everywhere. There's always the 10% on the high end and then 10% on the low end. You know, we dealt with it in recruiting. We dealt with it in the Marine Corps. I deal with it in school.
Yeah.
I deal with it in my children and with my wife and I. My wife's at the top end. I'm at the bottom. The kids are right in the middle because I don't know shit yet.
You know, so something I got to thinking about. When we're old, we'll be able to tell our grandchildren that we survived
a pandemic,
the TP apocalypse,
the TP apocalypse,
the TP dust storm.
It's gonna be
the great TP dust storm of 2020.
Why toilet paper?
I don't know, what is that gonna do? Like I don't understand how.
What do people use toilet paper for? That they need that much of it,
so that they don't get it. Like,
are they preparing for Halloween to become mummies?
Yeah.
Like how many mummies we would call it now? How many mummies will there be for Halloween?
So
with toilet paper that they bought in excess.
Yeah. One of my friends sent me. Also, I'll pull it up so we can listen to it on TikTok. She sent me this. I'm not on TikTok, but I have the app. I don't really use it that much.
I've never even opened up TikTok before.
I'm scared of it because it's owned by some foreign country.
The Russians.
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck are they going to do?
Well, it's like there's a bunch of companies that are owned by Russia that.
She sent me this. I'm going to play it so that we can hear it. It's fucking hilarious.
The Vatican has just cancelled Easter. Do you know how much shit has to be wrong in the world where the Pope just says, fuck it, this year Jesus stays dead? The Vatican has...
He was reading a tweet.
Was he reading a tweet?
Yeah, because I thought I sent you that tweet. Somebody had tweeted it out the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw it. I sent it to a bunch of people. I thought it was hilarious.
Twitter is the greatest place. If you want to find out where most of these memes comes from,
and that's
usually Twitter.
But then, you have to deal with the whole Twitter people talking about shit you don't care about.
Oh, I know. People do talk about shit you don't care about.
Like I hopped on there because yesterday our internet company had a lot of outages. And I work from home normally. I normally work remote.
Yeah.
But I understand that with everybody else working remote, it's going to cause some issues on the infrastructure. And I get that it's going to be slower and we're going to have some outages. But I went my entire shift. I got internet back 43 minutes before the end of my shift.
So, yeah.
So I had to use my hotspot on my phone to run my internet.
Do you have to pay extra for that?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah. I write it off of my taxes.
I've used the hotspot on my phone a couple times, but I've never paid attention to my bill.
Oh, it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't. Do you have unlimited data?
Yeah.
Well, that's why it comes with unlimited data.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I pay less than you pay for unlimited data for the stuff that I have.
Is your wife working at home now?
She spent most of the week working at home. She went in yesterday.
Here's my next question: is she drinking more than that? She's around everyone.
No, because I stay outside.
I
work outside of the office. Otherwise, I'd probably drive her up a wall.
If I was married and we had to stay at home together, I'd be keeping her. I'd be having so much bottles of alcohol around. I'd be keeping her happy.
We don't drink too much.
I know
me because of my liver, and
I know if I died, it wouldn't be because of COVID. It would be because of my spouse.
Oh yeah. That was I'd seen that somewhere. The question of are these couples that are home that are stuck at home quarantined, are they having more or less sex? I imagine the original at the beginning it's more, but the longer you stay stuck with each other, the honeymoon period wears off.
So when you were deployed, did you ever spend time in like those Yahoo chat rooms?
No,
we did that.
So I played Mafia Wars.
You did?
Yeah.
So
when we were actually on a base that had internet and helping Mafia Wars while all the other guys are working.
We had like the internet chat rooms, and not every base had them. Some bases didn't even have fucking computer rooms at all for people. But there was a few times where all of us would be in the fucking Yahoo chat room, in the computer room, trying to get some chick naked on a webcam for us.
It's just the thought of that is just weird. A bunch of dudes sitting around watching one chick get naked.
Yeah. Dude, we did it.
The guys did that in Okinawa a lot.
Yeah, we would do stuff like that.
Like, I don't know. I never found a draw to get a chick naked. Well, there's a bunch of other dudes with you.
I mean, no homo. None of us were looking at each other.
I don't believe that. There's always that one.
Well, if they did, it wasn't me. I know if I looked at someone else doing that, I'd instantly go limp. I'd be like, ugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe him.
I wouldn't believe me either.
So what are in your opinion some of the best and worst things to come out of this last week or so of craziness?
I think some of the best things is we have united a little bit as a country, a little bit.
Okay.
I think there's some unity.
I'm not seeing as much race stuff right now. Unless we're counting rednecks as the race that everybody's judging.
In the government and politics.
Yeah, well, in politics is just always a...
Yeah. I do like that aspect. I wish they worked together like this more often.
I agree.
I think it would help our country out.
I think the one thing that does frustrate me about the whole politics thing is everybody is talking about, well, one pandemic is showing that our infrastructure is totally garbage. It's not actually showing that. It's showing, look how well we're able to communicate to.
Yeah.
It's the idiots that won't stay the fuck at home.
I just belched. It's this damn throat of mine that's so open. Everything just flying out. But, I think the one thing that people are starting to realize too is in a crisis like this, you really can't rely on the government to take care of you for everything.
And you shouldn't. You should never.
Yeah, look at what's happening to the government. It's practically shutting down.
That was the other thing is, like, why are you relying on the centralized government to...
Yeah, what's going to happen to the police force when the entire police force is infected with COVID-19? None of them are going to be working. Crime's probably going to go up.
We're going to be deputized.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'll be spending the night at my buddy's house.
Well, I mean, in speaking of that kind of thing, if the world kind of gets to that point, I know that ammo sales are always up in these kinds of times. And
is there ammo in Academy? I haven't looked.
I don't know. I haven't been.
I know most academies in Texas, ammo's sold out.
Well, I'm
stockpiled. I got a bunch.
Well, that's the thing is, I reload and I start. I have plenty enough. But
every time I go to Academy, I always buy a couple boxes.
Yeah, well, my thought process is, then you have to deal with the gouging people, because then you always have the people that are trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah. And
one thing has become even more evident, and I don't know if you know much about this, back when the PMAG crisis, mm-hmm. Gun broker, mm-hmm. Man, those pieces of shit.
Now, refresh me on this.
So gun broker back in 2011, 2012, whenever that time frame was, 2012, because I was deployed.
Yeah.
They were selling PMags for up to $99 per magazine. But even worse than that, even worse than the price gouging, is that they were...
Why were they doing this? That's
to make money, because they're pieces of shit.
Oh, wow.
Even worse than all of that is they would there were orders that were already placed and already purchased before they made the changes to the prices.
Yeah.
They stopped those shipments that were already out. They recalled shipments.
What the fuck?
Refunded those people their money, and then put those same magazines back on the store, back on the shelf for twice, 3, 4 times as much.
Oh, that's fucked up.
And before any of this, the second that there was an opportunity to do so, they jacked up all the prices on the ammunition.
That is so fucked up.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Like I haven't even been on the website since 2011, but I was tipped off about all this happening. And
I mean, I heard something, but I didn't. Back then, I didn't pay attention to your politics and guns. Not something I was paying attention to at that moment in time.
No, it was it was bad. You couldn't find metal magazines. People were paying like $40 for metal magazines.
Fuck me, dude.
Like I said, up to $99 for PMags.
That's insane.
And it's even worse because it's not like, it's something to be said if the company that makes them, because technically Magpul is a small business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a larger small business, but it's a small business.
No, it's a large business.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, we're not talking about Walmart here.
That makes me never want to buy a PMag again.
Mm-mm. Well, that's what I'm getting to. Is Magpul wasn't the ones jacking up the prices.
Yeah.
So Magpul, as the small business, isn't gaining from this greed.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that everything is being sold out and they have to make more.
Yeah.
It's companies like Gunbroker that are just fucking us. It was ridiculous.
So going back to this whole COVID-19 thing, the thing that I hated about it is there was definitely some clear division in our country when this first started because, I don't normally like to talk about politics, but I definitely pay attention to them because when I go vote, I want to know who the fuck I'm voting for.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why I pay attention because there's some shady motherfuckers in there that don't even. Some of those people just need to get the fuck out and let some fresh men.
Absolutely.
They've been in there way too long. They know too much shit about it, how it works. They're in too deep. And when this whole COVID-19 thing came out and Trump started closing off travel to China, I was like, well, great. It's a fucking start. I thought in my personal opinion that he did it a little bit too late. He should have done it like a week or two earlier because he could have stopped it from.
But at the same time, he was trying not to.
He was trying to seem like xenophobic, like they claimed him to be when he did it.
Right, and I can appreciate that to an extent.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and that's not his fault, but it's the media, and it comes from both sides of the politics. They both do it, both left and right side do it, and that part right there, ticked me off when that came about because it's just like, he's not the brightest guy in the world, but he is our president, and I will say I did vote for him, but just because I wasn't going to vote for Hillary.
I voted for General Mattis. Just going to throw that out there.
I think we should just start putting ourselves on the ballot.
I always, the last couple of times I've voted for good old Jim.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
My mom used to vote for Mickey Mouse for decades, man.
Yeah. So I did, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, man. That part right there just ticked me off because here you had the both left and right. So you had all these politicians telling him to do shit, and in the country as a whole, civilians telling him to do shit. And then when he does something, they're like, fuck you, or and it's just like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with our politicians? They're fucking idiots.
I think that it's really difficult to look at what a politician's motivators are.
Yeah.
Because there are some aspects where, yes, some of them do care about their constituents.
Some of them are just bought off.
Some of them are. It's not possible for them not to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's not possible for there to be so many senators and congressmen and none of them to be bought off.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
Did you see on the latest thing? I was quite surprised by it. The insider trading that they're accusing.
So I think the accusation might be unfounded.
I don't know a whole lot about insider trading laws, but did you see the majority of them are Republican senators?
I did. So
that surprised me.
No, it doesn't surprise me because Republicans tend to be bigger into the business model. Okay. Now, I don't necessarily think that it's insider trading without knowing too much because I do pay attention to the stocks and I constantly looking at my stocks, daily.
That's why I'm bringing it up to you because I know more.
I think that what they're accusing them of insider trading and pulling out their money when they did, I don't think that that's necessarily insider trading and telling their friends, because my friends and I discuss it.
Yeah.
And we knew 3 weeks ago too. We've been watching it and we've been buying into the stocks when they're real low right now.
Yeah.
Because that's a smart business decision.
It's a good time to buy when they're low.
One of them, if I had $1.4 million in the stock market, I absolutely would have brought it out. You know how painful it is to watch my stocks right now?
Yeah. I can imagine.
I'm down like 35%.
Now, how does the stock work? Can you pull that money out anytime you want?
So yes, for the most part, there are some caveats. Based on like one of mine the other day, Alaska Steel, they merged with another company called Clifton, something like that, CLF. During the time that they were doing the merger, I couldn't touch that money from AKS or from Alaska Steel because they were merging, so that money didn't. But when they merged, my stocks ended up transferred to the other company.
Yeah.
So in that case, I actually won because it's basically gambling.
Yeah.
I won because the new stocks were valued at more than what my previous stocks were valued at.
Yeah.
So I couldn't pull it out during that period, but right now, I could sell all of my stocks or during trading hours. Mm-hmm. I could sell all of my stocks and I could pull that money out.
Yeah.
It'd be really dumb. So here's your insider trading tip, if that's what we want to call it. Don't sell during a recession if it looks like things could get better.
Yeah.
Because one, you're gonna create even more volatility. The more people that sell stocks when they're low creates more volatility in the market. The lower the stock is worth.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Yeah.
None of us are day traders.
Yeah.
To be a day trader, you have to have $25,000 in your portfolio at any time, every day.
Yeah.
I don't have $25,000 in my portfolio every day.
I don't have $25,000 in my portfolio. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get some more coffee. Anything?
No, I'm good. I guess I'll talk a little bit more about this. Yeah. So basically, what happens when you buy a stock is you buy it at a certain point. Mm-hmm. So say, let's call it WTF stocks were $10. So today they're $10. Tomorrow, because of the pandemic, people are spending less money on on WTF products. So the value is lower. So the number reflects that lower amount. So now it's worth $9. Mm-hmm. Well, as a smarter investor, you would buy it at $9 knowing that when all of this stuff is over, it's likely going to come back because that product is going to be in demand again.
Yeah.
So then when it bounces back, say I bought one share, I'll gain $1 off that one share. When it comes back to 10, I'll sell it at 10, I'll gain $1.
Yeah.
With the pandemic, everything was up. We were at a higher point.
Yeah, we were doing pretty good. And
we were, and there were some that were, struggling back and forth. That's how the stocks work. But, the way it works, if you looked over the last, couple of generations, is that there are ebbs and flows. Yeah. Everything is affected. One of the biggest, or one of the first ones that really started to take a hit was like Goodyear Tire.
Yeah.
And that's because they have a huge factory in China.
Yeah.
Well, all of the people in China were quarantined, so they couldn't work, which means they couldn't produce tires.
Produce anything.
So that really factory is on a lower, is producing less, which means that the demand is heightened, which doesn't increase the value of the tire because they still have to compete with the market.
I was going to, I have, over the past couple of months, I've been like looking at how to invest in the stock markets. I've never done it. I was going to start on the Cash App. I haven't really committed. But what's your advice to someone that has never looked into stock markets? What would be a good starting point that you would tell them where to start at?
The first thing that you would want to look at is look for stuff that you're not paying for, and you're not paying per trade. Because generally in the stock market, what happens is you pay for your trading.
Yeah.
Now, in the bigger stock market, the reason that people buy in huge shares, they'll buy 100 shares of something, is because they're only paying one time for a trading fee, a broker fee. Whereas if you're buying small amounts, like 2 or 3 stocks, you're making less money.
Yeah.
And so if you start just kind of getting an understanding of how it works using some of these apps nowadays that offer free broker fees, it's a little bit easier, and you can play around. Don't play with money up front that you can't afford to lose. It's like any other gambling.
Yeah, you don't worry.
Yeah, if you've got $10 to spare, fine. Take $10, put it in there, put it in some penny stocks, which is just a form of really, really cheap stocks. You can get some stocks for under $1. Yeah, you can get some stocks for under $1. Yeah. Buy 10 of them.
That's why I was looking at the Cash App, because you can get stocks for $1 on Cash App.
Well, I think Cash App does what's called fractional shares.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so fractional shares is like Amazon right now is like $1,800 a share.
Yeah.
I could, with a fractional share, and some companies have the ability to do so, some don't. I could purchase, say I put $100 at Amazon, it buys a fraction of a share that is shared amongst other people that make up that.
Oh,
so then you only make a fraction of what the...
So it's basically like, pulling in on a lottery ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
At the workplace.
Yeah, exactly. The same concept, same in function.
That makes sense. So that's probably an easier way to get into it and kind of learn about it.
I would go with full shares, a little bit less that you have to understand.
Okay.
One of the things that you would always want to look at is if you're planning on doing longer stuff, always diversify. Once you start putting in more money, start going with some of the what they call blue chip stocks, like PepsiCo and Coke, things that over the last 100 years have just steadily gone up. So it's just an investment for the future. Most of what I play around with right now is just short term because it's fun.
Yeah.
And apparently I like to watch my heart sink every time I open up my apps in the morning. Things like there's an app called Acorns.
Acorns.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that because you're not purchasing apps in that, or you're not purchasing stocks in it. However, it takes all the change from, like, say you go to the store and use your debit card and you spend $1.13. Then you get 87 cents to your Acorn account, and change adds up.
Yeah,
change adds up quick.
Yeah.
So that's a nice place to start for like investment stuff. And then if you're going to use, I used to really like the Robinhood app because it's cheap. It's one of the first of its kind. For buying stocks of your own on your own volition. They don't you don't charge brokerage, but they don't have as many stocks available because there's multiple different types of stock markets depending on the country, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. But they had some issues with their database that kind of made me wary.
I see on the news behind you that Illinois has just issued shelter at home order.
Illinois. Interesting place. Don't people fly over that state?
Yep.
I'm gonna have to call my buddy when we get down here and check on him.
Did you also? So earlier we saw the current events that we are now pulling out of Iraq. Pretty much completely because of COVID-19.
In fact, I have written down here freedom.
Yeah,
and then in all caps, Iraq freedom.
About fucking time. And God bless Task and Purpose. Sometimes they're not the greatest, sometimes they are, but they make pretty good comments on their headlines.
I love their headlines. I don't generally read their articles, but I'll read their headlines.
Their headlines are great. And this headline, what did it say? Do you remember what it said? Do I get
You need to pull it up. It was pretty good.
It was pretty funny. It was hilarious.
I know probably a few of the people that listen to this are Iraq veterans. Probably more than a few, just based off of we're getting old, and this is what our generation did.
Yeah.
So some of you guys fought, and we all have friends that died, and I'm just glad.
Iraq, those pieces of shit.
I was reading a bunch about World War II the other day. Another thing about World War II, especially the Pacific theater, but just reading some of the facts, and I was thinking to myself, in 60 years are they going to have like BuzzFeed things? Oh, random facts about the Iraq War. I did too. That was the first idiots that I could think of.
That and what's it? The news.
But it's weird to think that our children are gonna, someday be reading history on places that we've been like that.
Yeah.
And it's got to be weird for our grandparents.
So whoever published this article on Task and Purpose titled it "Iraq Forces Can Handle What's Left of ISIS on their own."
Well, hopefully that's the case.
And it's good. They should, because you know what? It's their own goddamn country. They need to fucking own up to it and take care of themselves for once.
Well, and I think that part of it comes down to we don't really like to do things unfinished.
Yeah, we don't.
So,
but it's just that culture, though. They're so lazy. They're so fucking lazy.
I didn't really deal with the people very much.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah, because we mostly did convoys, and most of the people that we saw were either going about their day or staring at us or, blowing us up.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, I got my HK sitting over here. I just wanted to remind you, like, what ASMR HK sounds like. You can hear it.
For the rest of you guys, what we're talking about is HK. Remember, every day we freedom check.
We freedom check. This is what the HK trigger sounds like when you pull it. Oh, just listen to that crisp snap.
Somebody's taking a little bit too much liquid Percocet.
This is what it sounds like when you unload an HK magazine. Just listen to all those bullets come out. Oh, it's so hot. It just turns me on. Huh? No, keep going.
It was a weird time to start doing ASMR again. He's in a weird mood today, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been in a weird funk ever since I've been on hydrocodone. This is what it sounds like when you touch tips with 9mm.
Well, at least people killers.
People killers. Yeah. Well, is there anything else interesting going on in this world?
Not really. This is pretty much populates the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I guess this is the end of the episode. Well, I hope this gives you guys some stuff to listen to and comment and joke about. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully this week I'll be interviewing one of my great friends that I went through physical therapy with. Hopefully on Monday morning. She's got a fantastic story. She's kind of a badass. She got into a motorcycle accident, and my memory could be judged, a little fudged or something. But from what I know, she put a tourniquet on her own leg out in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma.
Wow!
After a motorcycle accident.
What a badass!
Yeah. And so I've been wanting to interview people that I served with and I went through physical therapy with, and she's going to be one of the first ones. So I'm excited. Hopefully she can get on soon. And I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.